Ho ho boardies, welcome to Borderline Games. I am Gareth and this is the Chrono Jotter episode 10. Last time the power went out for the school grounds, but it was no big deal apparently because power will be back after the school day ends. That's going to be relevant later down the line. After a quick barbecue, we went with Tama, I think her name is, to the infirmary to check on Koizumi, I think her name is, who was putting on a brave face after hurting her foot in a fall. We ordered her to rest before we continued to explore the school grounds, so we can go to either there to see Miho, and Aya, or we can go and see Sayuruno. Okay, well, if we're going to get clues, I guess... Two's better than just one, I think. And Sai had something to do with the last murder. This is a swimming pool, I think. And I doubt that the swimming pool is going to be the crime scene for the second one in a row. So let's have a look at this one. That's what they want you to think. Let's head back to the kitchen. Why? Did we forget something? No, it's just, we ate a lot just now, and even though I know you have your own system for the chores, I'd feel bad leaving such a giant mess for the girls who are stuck on duty today to clean up on their own. Let's head back and lend a hand. You're right, Ibuki-san. Let's help where we can. Ran, walking in front, pushed open the dorm entrance first. She heard the muffled voices of Miho and Aya, who were apparently on duty for cleanup today, discussing something with each other. Instinctively, she slowed her steps, trying to hear their words clearly before she continued on, but Miho seemed to have been interrupted and was now only making indistinct whimpering sounds. Oh, really? Ran grew concerned and quickened her steps again. Once they passed the corner, Ran and Tama arrived at the kitchen, where they saw Aya turn around to look at the two of them, while Miho covered her own mouth with her hands, her face burning red. Ran-chan, what are you doing here? Ibuki-san felt that it'd be unfair to leave all the cleanup to you two, so she came to help. Uh-huh. Ran-chan's pretty considerate. Huh, how nice. Aya said with a smile before turning to Miho. How about it, Miho? Shall we invite the two of them to join us? Miho frowned a little. After a moment, she pulled her hand from her mouth. Sure, of course. What's going on here? Then let's begin cleaning, Ibuki-san. Sure. These two, seriously, what were they even up to? The four of them working together quickly finished cleaning up. Ran, though, felt that the mood had become awkward for some reason, so she and Tama quickly departed the dorms together after that. Oh, okay. After that, Tama took Ran to the lab room and the art room. These two rooms were rarely used, so the two of them didn't stay for very long. Even though we only took a quick look, all the tools and equipment were there. If someone actually wanted to study properly here at the school, they wouldn't see any trouble for lack of equipment. That's my little echo dot. Let me know that it's raining. The real problem is, of course... Oh, hang on, I should be doing her voice. What's going to actually happen the day they all graduate? Is the school really going to let them leave as normal? Everyone else I could maybe see, but what's going to happen to Indoro and Koizumi-sensei? Are they going to get sent back to their own timelines or something? There's no way, right? This ought to change their futures massively. Or does it mean that the Koizumi-sensei I knew really did spend time here when she was younger? No, that's even more impossible. No matter what the truth is, manipulating time is no small feat. If the true mastermind behind this whole scenario has that kind of power, then I'm in some serious trouble. Ibuki-san! Tama shouted in a voice much louder than her usual speaking voice. Sorry, I was just thinking about something. What is it? Tama held her phone tightly as her eyes wandered. I'd like to go visit Asakura-san. It's been a long time already, but she still hasn't contacted me. She hasn't even replied to my texts. Oh dear. I don't know if something's happened. Maybe she's in trouble and needs my help. Or even... Tama's breathing grew more and more panicked, as though her fears had already come to pass. If it turned out that Sakura-san had been killed, I mean, what do you care? They're gonna... Like, even if she was killed, we'll solve it, and then she'll come back to life. Who cares? Calm down, Enduro. You're getting too worked up. I'm sure that it's just the generator is taking a lot of time to fix. You go on ahead if you're worried. I'll keep looking around on my own. Tama made a hasty bow and then ran off. So that's why she's been checking her phone over and over this afternoon, huh? Well, just me now. Where to now? Oh, okay. Okay. So I can go here? No? And Sakura? That's literally the only place I can go. Or Aya Toyama? Oh, okay. I feel like I've got to check on Aya Toyama. Speaking of which, the atmosphere between Aya and Miho in the kitchen back there seemed a bit awkward. Maybe I should visit the music room and see if I can catch Aya. Ran thought for a minute about the location of the music room before quickly heading to the destination. Before long, she arrived at the door to the music room. No sounds emanating from the room, though. She opened the door to enter and saw Aya standing at the window next to the piano. An electric guitar laid across the piano bench. After noticing Ran, Aya smiled and waved at her. You always practice the guitar here? Yep. But there's no power today, so I can't use the amp. All I can do is play the piano today. Even though I don't actually know how to play the piano. Can't play the guitar now that the power's out, huh? I could if I really wanted to, but not in the mood. Then why not just go back to the dorms? Oh, I'm sure you already know why, Ran-chan. That's why you came all the way here to find me, wasn't it? The kitchen thing, yeah? Aya nodded. Thank goodness you two came to help. Otherwise, I bet I'd have stuck cleaning up with Miho for ages. I'd have been stuck cleaning up with Miho for ages, I see. And then I wouldn't have had a chance to skedaddle out of here. I noticed that you two were getting up to... I noticed what you two were getting up to, though. I don't think Indoro did. Yeah, that sounds about right. Though I'm sure Tama-chan already has plenty of experience with that sort of thing herself. Huh? Seriously, with who? A Sakura? I mean, who else? I'm pretty sure that's illegal. Aya giggled. Oh, I see. What, were they... They were kissing? Tama's the same age as the rest of us, you know. The question of age made Ran think about Koizumi again. Aya sat down on the piano bench and swung her legs back and forth, staring at the tips of her own shoes. Maybe I was a little too aggressive. Ran walked to the side of the piano waiting for Aya to continue. It's because I got the impression that Miho's starting to develop feelings for you, so I couldn't keep my calm. Everyone is just flirting and kissing each other all the time. Ridiculous. Takai's kind to everyone. She just cares a lot about others, that's all. Yeah, Miho does take the initiative to offer help. When people around her are in trouble, and she's capable enough to justify it too. Right. So what do you have to worry about? Takai's just concerned about me because she sees about how rough things have been for me. Well, I get jealous easily, that's why. But there's also something else I'm concerned about. What? The fact that I also want to help you and do nice things for you and, you know, take care of you as well. Ran stared at Aya with widening eyes. She was starting to get nervous and she couldn't help but keep trying to guess what was going to come out of Aya's mouth next. Aya crossed one leg over the other, resting an elbow on her thigh and supporting her head with an arm as she watched Ran. And not just the kind of concern that exists between classmates or good friends, it's a stronger feeling, like I can't let you go no matter what. If I'd had so many people care about me in high school, would I have turned out differently? Well, I had Miss Sakura then, so there's no difference really. Just one of her is enough to make up for any number of other people, Are these students that she's talking to, or the students of the school, are they supposed to be like a reflection of her emotions? And it's like, you know, her obsessiveness for Miss Sakura is being reflected back on her by all of these people. I don't know. It's weird, whatever it is. Just one of her is enough to make up for any number of other people. What with the sweet talking all of a sudden, Toyama? Oh, come on, I've always been concerned about you, alright? Aya made an exaggerated fawning expression, before sticking her tongue out and continuing. Is it possible that I knew you from before? Like, when we were young, we built sandcastles together on the playground or something? Ran immediately went on a high alert, expecting a serious headache to hit her, the way it had when she discovered her memories for Koizumi. She waited for her memories of Aya Toyama to awaken. However, nothing happened. Ah, I'm just kidding. If I'd ever met you and then forgotten about you, I definitely wouldn't be so concerned with you here and now. Yeah, I guess you're right. Ran quietly let out a sigh of relief. Well, since you seem to be in a good mood, I'll take my leave then. Oh, shoo. Thanks for coming to visit me, by the way. Right. Also, one more thing. Eh? Next time you two want to make out, try to find a place where others won't bump into you by accident. Things will get way too awkward otherwise. Aya laughed and flippantly waved her hand at Ran in response. Okay. Miss Sakura, where are you? Let's hang out. Ran sent the message to Anne and waited for a response. After less than a minute, a notification popped up on Ran's screen indicating that Anne had replied. I'm at the observation deck. Great. Ran immediately rushed back to the dorms, dashed up the stairs and pushed open the door to the observation deck. Ran. Miss Sakura. Anne Sakura was standing on the sitting on a bench at the observation deck. Ran pushed forward and took her hands and sat down at her side, their shoulders pressing together tightly. Tama took you on a tour of the school just now, didn't she? How'd you feel about this place? Any location with you in it is a lovely place, Miss Sakura. Ran's response left Anne at a loss for words. She hesitated a moment just before she spoke again. I mean, besides me, have you been enjoying spending time with the other students as well? Who cares? As long as Miss Sakura's here. It doesn't matter what anyone else is like. Ran intentionally exaggerated her feelings, hoping that Anne would quickly understand her positive sentiments. Anne's hands tightened in Ran's grasp, and she hesitated once again. That was another emotion that Ran had never seen on her before. Then Anne laid her other hand onto the back of Ran's. I'm really having a lot of trouble accepting such strong feelings from you. Only the real Anne Sakura should be the one to accept those feelings. And I'm not the one you're looking for. In your heart. So... Anne seemed to be pondering how to express her thoughts. So I don't have the right to accept them. Ran's expression darkened immediately, and Anne, upon seeing this, rushed to speak again. But if it's only memory loss that's causing this, and I still have the exact same self as the Anne Sakura you hold dear to your heart, then I'd be obligated to accept your feelings for the sake of the original Anne Sakura. Honestly, this has put the current me into a real conundrum. I see. So that's why Miss Sakura's been distancing herself from me, intentionally or unintentionally, despite what she said to me in the rain. Originally, she was using her actual body, the one that belongs to Miss Sakura, as the justification for her love for me. But now she's considering it from the standpoint of her own thoughts and differences in her personality instead. And it's led her to feel that she can't accept my feelings. Ran took into her palm the hand that Anne had moved away as well. Why not just say Ran held her hand and spoke? No, Miss Sakura. You could have just completely ignored me and continued to live the way you wanted to, but now you're feeling burdened by the need to properly respond to my feelings. The fact that you're considering my feelings at all is proof that you are the person that I love. Perhaps I'm doing this just for my own sake, though. After all, if I recover my memories, then the present me will no longer exist anymore. What do you mean? No matter what happens, you'll always be. Anne reached out with a finger and stopped Anne's words by sealing her lips. Ran, let me ask you this. Between the current me and the Anne Sakura who has recovered her memories, whose side do you stand on? Of course I'd hope that you recover your memories, Miss Sakura, but... what do I truly love, really? It's not the memories, right? It should be the person I'm in love with, not the memories. And the person in front of me right now is unquestionably Miss Sakura, so I should choose her? A voice rang out in Ran's head, telling her that memories were unimportant, that two people who were together could always create more memories together. It's not that simple, though. The experiences I shared with Miss Sakura were irreplaceable. Miss Sakura saved me from my sufferings. I need those memories. But, Miss Sakura... Ran didn't know what to do. She didn't want to express any kind of refusal towards Anne Sakura. Anne cupped Ran's face in her hands. I'm sorry, Ran. The two of us should face this question together. Ever since you've come here, I feel like I've changed a bit as well. The things you've said have made me ponder things more. If we continue to live under the same roof like this, perhaps both you and I will change, even further, and eventually we'll reach an answer to all these questions. Ran nodded. The way she'd regained Koizumi's memories had inspired her greatly, and if they continued to accumulate shared life experiences together, perhaps Anne's memories would return to her in the same way. I understand, Miss Sakura, and also... Ran leans in, bringing her face close to Anne's. Would you give me a kiss? Anne couldn't help herself and giggled. Why are you so insistent on kissing anyways? Well, because, Ran was having trouble getting the words out through her embarrassment. Because before, when I was upset or when I was crying terribly, Miss Sakura always kissed me to make me feel better. Even though it was the same excuse that Ran had used yesterday, Anne still acceded to Ran. Is that how you're feeling now? Upset? Well, yes, I feel upset all the time. Every day. Anne held the sides of Ran's head, and lightly kissed Ran on the forehead. Will that do? Yes. Yes, it will. Ran leaned over and hugged Anne's waist. Thank you, Miss Sakura. So do you think Anne truly does have missing memories, or is she, I don't know, like an interpretation of something else in Ran's subconscious or something? Maybe it's not actually Anne Sakura. Ran and Anne arrived at the first floor of the dormitory together. As it happened, Sai and Sakura had also just returned to the dorms at the same time. Asakura-san, has the generator been fixed? Asakura nodded, carrying a toolbox in both hands. Oh, easy. Yes, well, it's been fixed for a while now. But there was something I couldn't carry by myself, so I had to take a bit of time to ask Yuruno for help. Took the opportunity to fix the door that Yuruno broke at the swimming pool as well. What do you mean, the door that I broke? Huh? Ran noticed that something was off. Hey, where's Induo? Tama? What about her? She took me on a tour around school, but halfway through the tour she said she wanted to go find you, so we split up. Have you not seen her? Asakura blinked, her eyebrows drooping. No, I didn't. Maybe we just happened to miss each other. I remember Induo said she sent you a text. Did you not get it? Let me check. Asakura set down the toolbox and checked the pockets of her dress. She found nothing within. I seem to have lost my phone.
Maybe you dropped it while fixing the generator.
Possibly. But I'm going to blame you for this one. I figured you'd probably be swimming, so I didn't bother to try and contact you with my phone. I'm sure I would have noticed if it was missing if I did. Sai rolled her eyes at Asakura, who continued with a smile. To make up for it, why don't you do me a favour and give Tama-chan a call?
If you want me to call her, just say it up front and skip the pleasantries.
Sai dialed Tama's phone number, but received only a notification that Tama's phone had been turned off.
Looks like Induo forgot to charge her phone again. You got to remind her about that more.
Well, Tama wouldn't leave before she got to see me. I bet she's just sitting around somewhere because her phone died, and she's afraid to run around on her own. Let me go check the power room again. Asakura picked up a toolbox, stowed it back in the tool room, and left the dorms. Sai looked down and noticed that Ran and Anne were holding hands.
What? Finally got a chance to speak, so now you're not letting her go?
Exactly. I'm never letting her go ever again.
Well, as long as you don't suddenly decide to run away while holding her hand like last time. I still remember how you straight up sent me flying when I got in the way.
Why are you bringing that up again?
It was only yesterday. Maybe it was the day before.
Anne laughed in amusement as they heard the sound of footsteps coming from the stairs. Ah, everybody is here then. The power seems to have been fixed. Sakai? I thought Miss Sakura and I were the only ones in the dorms. I've been doing my homework upstairs up until now. When I heard everyone talking, I decided to come down and see what was going on.
Well, perfect time to take a break then. Let's go to the kitchen and I'll whip you up some drinks. Ibuki, this place has the materials to make basically everything. By the way, coffee, milk tea, black tea, whatever you could want.
Wow. I feel like Sai is single-handedly keeping life at the school fun for everyone all on their own. The squeal of boiling water rang out in the kitchen, along with the splattering raindrops from outside the window. It filled the dormitory with sound. Just as Kuizumi said, when it rained here, it tended to rain consecutively for several days. I'd like some black tea, if that'd be convenient for you, Yorona-san.
Don't usually go for milk tea.
We just had a barbecue today, so I'd like something less cloying this time. Sai laughed as she reached for one of the higher cabinets in the kitchen.
Afraid of gaining weight? I'm sure Toyama wouldn't mind even if you did.
It's nothing to do with her. Take and Toyama sure have a great relationship.
Hmm?
Sai repeatedly pulled at the cabinet door, which let out a series of clunking sounds. What's wrong?
Of all the times for the door to jam, what a pain. And on the day, someone wants some black tea too. Sorry, Miho, looks like the door to the black tea cabinet is stuck. You want something else?
Wait, that whole cabinet is for nothing but black tea? I guess I'll have some green tea instead then. The cabinet's broken. Sai craned her neck and checked the cabinet's hinges.
It's not a big problem. I'll come back with the screwdriver and fix it real quick later.
Then I'll have a green milk tea, I suppose. Huh? Why? Ran had shouted those words, startling Anne greatly. Oh. What? Is something wrong? No, just never mind. In the past, Anne Sakura only ever drank coffee, the kind that was topped with lots of milk and sugar every time. Due to her influence, Ran had taken on similar tastes in coffee as well. It's so weird to realise how different Miss Sakura is from before through little things like this. Okay, I got it. I got there.
So, Ibuki, what'll it be? How about a strawberry milk?
Oh, okay. Okay, burn. I mean, I think strawberry milk's great. What the hell? No, I'm not a kid. Give me an iced coffee with extra sugar and milk.
Gotcha.
Sai had busied herself with preparing the drinks when the phone she'd set down on the counter suddenly began to vibrate. She turned her head to look at the screen while her hands continued to feed coffee beans into the electric grinder.
Asakura says she still hasn't found Induo. She says she's going to keep looking outside.
Induo-san tends to get anxious whenever she's too far from Asakura-san. I doubt she's gone far. The two of them have a very special relationship, don't they? After hearing Toyama talk about how Induo and Asakura might have an intimate relationship, I'm even more curious about the nature of the relationship, what that relationship is. The nature of it, I mean. Induo-san really clings to Asakura-san, and Induo-san can be a bit dense on occasion, so Asakura-san takes particular care to watch out for her. Dense? I thought you all said that Induo's murders always tended to have extremely heavy-handed methodologies. Yes, exactly. That's part of why I'm saying she can be a bit dense sometimes. Sai set down the green tea in front of Miho. Thank you. Has Mrs. Kura ever drawn the culprit role before? No. Anne shook her head and Ran sighed a sigh of relief. Outside, the storm had started to intensify. Cracks of thunder could be heard outside the window, and the sound of raindrops on the window for some reason gave Ran a craving for the coffee that Sai was preparing. Miho looked out the window, rubbing her fingers up and down the teacup she held. Oh? Takai, are you worried about Toyama? Yeah, I am. I wonder if she brought an umbrella with her. Ran hadn't expected Miho to answer her in such a frank fashion, and her plan to make fun of her fell flat. I'll go bring her up an umbrella once she calls for aid.
Here you go. Your coffee and Sakura's green milk tea.
Thank you.
I had to add the sugar and milk beforehand since it's nice coffee. We didn't have any molasses here. Let me know if you want more.
You should have let me add it before you started brewing the coffee then.
You should have brought that up earlier, genius.
Ran handed the coffee to Anne, wanting to see if Anne still liked it or not. Miss Sakura, why don't you take a sip? You used to like this a lot. Is that so? Then I'll try it. Anne craned her neck, using her hand to tuck her dangling hair behind her ears. As her lips touched the cup, they've left gentle ripples on the coffee's surface. Miss Sakura is just way too beautiful. Hiding from the storm indoors and enjoying her favourite drink together with Anne Sakura, Ran's heart gradually filled with the sense of security that she cherished so much. Anne licked her lips a bit. Well, it's not bad, but I don't particularly like it that much either. I guess her body remembers how to enjoy coffee, but not her heart. Oh, Yuruno probably just screwed it up then. Sai took a seat holding a fruit tea of different flavour than what Ran had seen the night they'd met.
Well, looks like Ibuki's been officially demoted to the tap water only caste, starting from today.
Yuruno-san, I overspoke foolishly. Please forgive my trespasses and spare me. Some of these interactions are kind of weird. Ran set the cup and its last few dregs of coffee down. She was concerned a lot of the time had passed, but Sakura had yet to send any word to the group. As if in response to her concerns, someone pushed open the door. The person who entered, though, was an umbrella-bearing Koizumi. Oh, is everyone enjoying tea together? As Koizumi limped her way towards the kitchen, Miho, who was closest to the door, immediately rose to help her. How are you feeling? Does the wound still hurt? A bit, but Indui-san helped apply some medication, which helped a lot. Miho had Koizumi sit down in a seat, to save Koizumi from having to walk any further, and she quietly thanked Miho.
What'll you be having, Koizumi?
A milk tea, please. Heavy on the tea.
Got it. I've only got green tea left, by the way. Will that be fine?
Koizumi nodded and Sai had just gotten up to start working when she was interrupted by the vibration of her phone again. This time it was an incoming call.
Hmm? Oh. Oh, okay, got it.
The call was brief. Sai spoke after she hung up. It's going to be like, oh, she's dead. But that she doesn't care because they always get brought back. Oh, okay.
Asakura says she still hasn't found Induo. Well, she's worried that Induo might get drenched in the rain. She's asking us to bring umbrellas and to help her look.
Alright, I'll take the opportunity to pick up Aya as well. Sai looked down at Koizumi, who was making as though she was about to get up, and gestured at her to sit back down.
Koizumi, you should wait and rest here. You sit tight, I'll make you some tea.
Thank you, and I'm sorry. Miho draped her hands on Koizumi's shoulders, and even gave her a few pinches to serve as a sort of massage. Koizumi, who was apparently ticklish, pulled her neck in and giggled. No need to apologize. Get some rest.
Though it's possible that Induo's dead. In that case, it might be time for the great detective Ibuki to make her debut once again.
Ugh. Please don't make fun of me. Ran grimaced at Sai, before realizing that, unbeknownst to herself, her attitude to the deaths of others around her had also subtly changed, while she wasn't paying attention. They really aren't worked up over the possibility of a death at all. And even I don't panic as much anymore when thinking about their deaths anymore. I'm sure it's because Miss Sakura is with me. Let's go, Miss Sakura, we can share an umbrella. Anne nodded, stood, and placed both Ran's cup and her own in the sink. Let's go, Ran. Ran and Anne headed towards the pool, calling out Tama's name incessantly, but even after they reached their destination they saw neither hide nor hair of Tama. Nothing came of a thorough search of the changing room, the old showers, or any of the other areas around the pool. Ran held the umbrella and stood shoulder to shoulder with Anne at the poolside. Ripples, large and small, rose momentarily from the surface of the water before the next raindrops' perturbations swallowed them. Ran, have we ever gone swimming together before? Oh, sure. Though initially I didn't know how to swim, so I mostly just watched you swim from the shore. Same thing when we visited the sea. I just stayed on the beach by myself. The sea? You're talking about the summer vacation of the first year of our school that you mentioned before. Yeah, we visited the sea a lot of times. A lot of things happened there. Ranabuki sank back into memories. Moonlight, fine sand, and ocean waves. I've tried once or twice. My body remembers how to swim, but I'm not very used to it yet. We should go swimming together later then. Pick a time when Yurono isn't present. Yes, though I expect that Yurono-san will always be present. After that, Anne shrank her shoulders in, as though she was feeling cold, and Ran immediately pulled her close. They returned to the continued search for Tama Induo. The storm had made a mess of the courtyard, turning it into a sea of mud. Ran pulled Anne forward with heavy steps. Every step, the two of them took left mud stuck to the... What? Hang on. Every step the two of them took, left mud stuck to the soles of their feet. I'm sure that sentence could be written better. Every step the two of them took, left mud stuck to the soles of their feet. It's like a tongue twister. Be careful, Miss Sakura. It's okay. I'm fine. The two of them leaned on each other for support as they continued to search for where Tama might have gone. Let's check over there by the bushes and trees. Okay. Without realizing it, we've shifted to looking for a corpse. Everyone else is probably also searching furiously in those places where it would be impossible for a living person to hide. It's a bit unsettling. They looked around the trees in the courtyard and found nothing, so they decided to head to the gymnasium. Ran put away the umbrella as they stood at the gate of the gymnasium before they entered. Before they entered, she stuck out a stack of napkins from inside her jacket and used one hand to support herself against the wall as she cleaned the mud off her shoes with the other. Anne also knelt on the floor, cleaning the mud off her own shoes as the best as she could with the napkins that Ran had handed her. We'll have to wash our shoes thoroughly once we're done here. Yeah. Whoa. Ran turned and pushed open the doors to the gym. The sound of the rain completely covered up the creaking of the old iron doors. Okay, is this where her body is? Even though it was still theoretically day outside, the rain clouds covering the sky had turned the gym completely dark. Let me turn on the light. Anne searched over the wall for a while and found the light switch. Oh, with the snap of the switch, Ran's field of vision was flooded with bright light. Huh? What's that? Before her eyes had even adapted to the light, she saw the vague silhouette of a person sitting on the stage in the center of the gym. Ran quickly rushed over her as her eyes gradually adjusted to the light around her. But as she approached her destination, her steps grew slower and slower, while her heartbeat rose terribly in contrast. At the end, she was all but shuffling her legs as she reached the stage. She stared at the corpse before her with a ringing sound in her ears. Oh my god. Tama Indora's body was facing her, but her head was facing the opposite way. Oh wow. Has it been twisted all the way around? Oh my god. Her face had been twisted all the way to her back. Oh no. No! Tama! Can you hear me? Fuck. Makoto Asakura stood next to Tama Indora's corpse. She was soaked from head to toe. Rivulets of water fell from her hair, chin and fingertips, to the point where several small puddles had formed next to her feet. She stood there motionless with her back to everyone. Ran could only guess what expression she wore now. Was she crying or was she furious? After discovering the corpse, Anne messaged everyone else about it, and they soon arrived at the scene. Now the gymnasium's floor was covered in muddy footprints. Ran, though, remembered clearly that when she and Anne arrived at the gym, the floor had been pristine. So does that mean before it was raining is when she was here? Even though it was pretty self-evident, it's an extremely important detail. As Ran thought to herself, she looked around. She could tell from everyone else's expressions that they'd all been stunned by the horrible way that Tama had died as well. It might have been more terrifying if the corpse had been divided into multiple parts, perhaps, but something like that would have likely been done to conceal the crime, or in other words, it would have been more logical for the culprit to do that than this. Staring at the corpse, Ran felt a sense of fear from deep within. The way that Tama had died implied even more uncomfortable possibilities. Time gradually passed, but seemingly besieged by overwhelming silence, none of the students seemed willing to declare the start of the investigation out loud. They were all worried about Asakura, surely, as well as the time that this must be a murder unlike anything we've ever had to deal with before. But we can't wait here forever. I'll break the ice this time. Let's begin investigating the corpse. We can put her back to normal after we've done investigating. Ran spoke and broke the silence, and everyone raised their heads to look at her. Sure. The school has a designated area for corpses, so we can grab a body bag and carry her over once we're done. Thank goodness Miss Sakura's case was solved so quickly. I don't know if I could have handled seeing Miss Sakura in a body bag. Then let me investigate the corpse. I'll tell everyone about all the things I notice so that we can save the time. And Indira was so close to each of you that I'm worried seeing her like this will distract you from the investigation. So leave it to me. Miho nodded in agreement with Ran's statements. In agreement with Ran's statements before looking towards Asakura and gesturing at Ran. Right. I should probably ask her to be safe. Asakura, you heard, right? Is what I'm proposing acceptable? Asakura gave Ran a single glance and then turned aside and headed to the steps of the edge of the stage. She sat down on the steps and lowered her head, her hair forming a dark veil that concealed her face. Alright, I'm going to take that as an acceptance then. Rand stepped up to the corpse and took a quick look over it. There's a lot of interesting points here. Before investigating the details, let's check out the most conspicuous element here, the neck. The head's been turned all the way round.
Ran-chan, how'd her neck get like this?
Aya trundled over to the corpse, and the rest of the students slowly crept in as well. For a moment, Rand felt like she'd become the school biology teacher, giving a lecture on the corpse to the class of students around her. The neck muscles and skin display exaggerated torsion lines, which seem to be the result of an overwhelming torque force. It would have been far easier for the culprit to twist the head like this if the culprit had slit the victim's throat beforehand. But the culprit chose rather to use overwhelming force to rotate the muscles, neck, and spine all at once. Why is it always the neck, though? First Miss Sakura and now this. What do people have against necks?
Just how much force would it take to twist the whole neck around like that?
Is it like in those special forces movies where the super agent just breaks someone's neck from behind by twisting their head? As Koizumi spoke, she pantomimed the action. It was a terrible imitation. Had she not verbally described her intent, nobody could have deciphered just what her clumsy little wiggle was meant to be. Impossible. Nobody could possibly twist a living person's neck like this, with their own strength alone. Even wringing an infant's neck like this would be difficult. Why would you need to put that image in my head? The vertebrae would shatter, and the fragments would be very likely to pierce your skin. The skin. Compared to inflexible bone, twisting the skin and muscles requires a completely different order of magnitude of power. Besides, from those behind ambush attacks you see in movies do sort of exist in real life, but they work by impact force rather than by twisting.
How's that? Enlighten us.
Basically, it's hitting the target's neck with your two hands from different angles, resulting in vertebral dislocation. The goal is to cause the major veins and arteries in the neck to become compressed or even to break, leading to dizziness or death for the target. Was it Tama we saw when she got into the bath? Oh no, that was a different person. It's okay, that was Koizumi. I thought maybe there was going to be some kind of parallel between her getting into the bath and the feeling that it described on her neck to the way that she died, but that is out the window because it was Koizumi and not Tama.
Wow, you learn something new every day. Ran-chan sure knows a lot. So I guess all the time you didn't spend hanging out with Anne, you spend it stooping in front of a screen staring at medical documentaries.
You two sure can find something to snark about no matter what the situation is, huh? Rand snuck in a glance at Asakura. She was still just sitting there, motionless. Anyways, point is, to twist Indora's neck like this, you have to use some kind of device. Any ideas? You all should know better than I do what kind of equipment you've got available in this school. Sai turned to shout towards Asakura.
Oi, Asakura, there's a bunch of junk in the tool shed, ain't there? Any of it useful for this kind of thing?
Well, I checked the tool shed myself that one time. I didn't see anything special, though it may have been deeper in the room than I bothered looking. Makoto Asakura raised her head. Her eyes were only half open, and the strands of her hair were plastered on the tall bridge of her nose. Rainwater dripping down the corners of her eyes, making her look as though she was weeping. Even if there was, I couldn't possibly have come up with the idea of using them to make someone's head go on a carousel ride. She sounded no different than usual. If we're just talking about things that spin electrical drills, screwdrivers, pipe wrenches, crowbars. Well, people's heads are way bigger than the heads of screws. There's nothing these tools could do for that. After Asakura finished, Ran nodded and then brought herself so close to the body that her nose was nearly touching Tama.
Hmm.
Then let's start investigating the details. Wow, okay, so we've got Tama dead. I guess we knew that she was going to die. I thought it was either going to be her or Asakura, whatever her name is. You know, the one that she fancies. But I guess that's it for today's Borderline games. What's going to happen? Who's going to be the murderer? Maybe Asakura is a good enough subject. Hang on, I'm going to have to... good enough suspect because she's the only one that's been weird so far. Right, I'm going to try and save it here. There we go. We'll deal with this next time on Borderline Games. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening, and I will see you next time we play the Chrono Jotter. Bye-bye.